Hi Super Awesome Stampers, this is Super Awesome Stamper Shirley here to share with you the technique of making sunburst or starburst cards. Not sure exactly what the proper name is for them, but they're a great way to use up leftover DSP triangles and rectangles. And I'll show you how to create this card, starting with some measurements. So you want 2 pieces of Very Vanilla cut at 4 by 3.5. Then you will want your satin stitch ribbon. I'm using the Raspberry Ripple at about 5 1/4 inches, just long enough to wrap around your 4.5 by 4 inch Raspberry Ripple layering piece right there. So this was just something that I had left over from another project. Cut it as you need it so it wraps around the Raspberry Ripple. You'll also need the Tags for You stamp set. Since it's Valentine's coming up, I thought I would do some Happy Heart Days. Shh, don't tell my downline. This is their downline card for the month. They get a card in the mail from me once a month. And this is going to be the February one. I also used the Raspberry Ripple ink and the label bracket punch, which is on page 28 of the Celebrate the Everyday catalog. So let's get started getting the Starburst on your Very Vanilla 4 by 3.5 inch piece of cardstock. So I've seen it where people will use the glue sticks. I have a strong dislike for glue sticks, probably left over from traumas of childhood. So I don't have any of those in my house at all. So I am going to cover my sheet of paper there completely with snail. And the first thing that you want to do is, first let me mention about these triangles. This was left over from some Halloween cards. And the twisted card specifically, because you need all these triangles. So some of these were just leftovers. People didn't like the patterns, and I knew I wanted to incorporate them in these Starburst cards. So if you don't have triangles laying around, the DSP measures 5.5 by 2 inches, and then you cut it at a triangle, at a diagonal to make those triangles. So you want to start with the first triangle, the flat edge. And some people measure this. I'm not that picky. I'm just going to eyeball it and put it flat down. So you have to make right angles on top and bottom of your Very Vanilla paper. And then I'm going to nestle the coordinating triangle right next to it. And then I cheated. I had some long strips of cardstock. So instead of triangles, I kind of cut them at odd angles so that they would fit on my card here. So they would mimic triangles, but again we're lining up that flat edge. And then this one over here, and lining it up, so we're covering all that Very Vanilla up. Line up the bottom corners, and these are just leftover triangles from, here's my stack that I created. So I assembled all different patterns, so those are just leftover triangles from doing that. Slip that one right there. Okay, and now we need to do a little bit of trimming. So flip it over. And I suppose you could cut it down on your personal trimmer too. But I chose my little paper snips. That way I can get a precise cut and I can still retain the size of that Very Vanilla. And you don't have to do the rectangle that I have. You can do squares. You can do just tiny little starbursts too with all these little triangles that are left over. Those would make great little focal points. Right, so let me slip that out of the way. So there's that. And you'll see. Here's another pattern. I know, pretty crazy, right? Modern Melody is a pretty crazy print. But I think it works. Alright, I backed it on some black cardstock that I cut. 11 by 4 1/4, scored at the 5.5. And then I just started layering. So add some snail to the back. And I should add that this card kind of warms me up today. I think we were in the negative degrees again when I got up. I'm not sure if it got above 10 today. I just ran out to put a card in the mailbox and ran back in. Poor little Spencer's got to go out there and find a spot in the snow. And it's not too windy actually today, so it's not that bad out there for him. Alright, so wrap that around. Wrap it around again. Oh, and I see I need a little adhesive right there. Got to center that a little more and gotten a little more allowance on this end, but we'll make it work, right? Just slip some snail on there. Pop it on your basic black. And I seriously don't think this card needs any more embellishment because of the crazy patterns. Okay, look in here. You notice I'm using my scrap, very vanilla, to punch out. No need to cut into a fresh sheet of paper. And to pop it out, kind of add a little dimension. It looked kind of flat when I put it right next to the paper. Oh, awesome foam dimensionals. Okay, and I use the edges too. Just rip the edges off so there's no waste. And this is the Starburst card for today. So your scraps, whether they're rectangles at home or strips, you can cut them into triangles and line up and make some fun Starburst patterns. Hope you enjoyed making this card with me today. And this is Shirley Merker at sjsinks.stampinup.net. Bye!